Hi there. Um, so after watching Proud to Be on YouTube, I never really thought about this. I don't know if I've ever actually said this on YouTube. And if I have, I don't remember. To be honest, I've been going through a lot with this. I I've been straight for up to the point of 2012. That's how I always thought I was. But because there's certain things with Asperger's, I never really was 100% sure with myself. There with Asperger's there's a filter, a mind filter that helps when with normal people helps them, well, most normal people, though there is no such definition for normal, filter out what should be said out loud and what not should be said, or done and not done. Not everybody has that, and people with Asperger's, it's like there's a lot of holes in it. However, one of the things that it did filter that I just kept to myself and I just never really thought about it was how certain women, especially there was quite a few female celebrities I was actually attracted to, that I kind of like my brain pushed male ones onto it because I never really grew up till high school with anybody who was gay or lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. Then I got into actually 8th grade, and I had actually ended up having two gay friends throughout from 8th grade to the end of my high school year. Well, junior year, because they both were older than me and they graduated. So, but I mean, there was no problem with that. However, when they were in high school, they couldn't really come out of the closet, or they didn't know them, or they didn't know themselves for sure. However, I was never had a problem with it. Same thing with race. I grew up from going to a school where there was so many different ethnicities to a mostly white, pretty much 90% white school. So I never had a problem with that. I just felt uncomfortable saying certain words. Well, this was kind of similar, only it was more or less to filter my brain. And for the time I guess I can say 3rd grade because everything else, hold on. I don't think you guys can hear it. But from the time of, I guess, 3rd grade till I graduated, I never really connected the dots. Then I got into college, and there were certain things that kind of were focusing out, and brought into mind, and I couldn't, because I mean, I'm just as attracted to male as to female. With that being said, in this last 2 years, since I've been in college, I actually did come out to friends, and then because of certain circumstances, I did come out to the majority of my family. My parents knew in person, but most of my family knew through Facebook up to a certain point, and then I just told someone else recently. But what I'm trying to get at is that what's the word I'm looking for? I acknowledge myself as bisexual, which means you like both men and women. For the LGBT community, it is very hard to have a life where people can accept you. When I was growing up, for the most part, being lesbian or gay, but adding bisexuality, that is not is common as well as not as common in retrospect. I didn't even know what bisexuality was until I got older in either high school or college. And it explained quite a few things. When I had told my mother that I was bi and said I was just as attracted to girls as guys, she said, "Are you sure?" And I had had an incident prior to that reassured me. because most people say, oh, because maybe it's just something you're going through with college, and no, that's not what it was. There were certain things I remember when I was growing up that's like I always thought but I would never say. And like I said, I don't know if I ever did this kind of video. When I told my mother this, she said probably my brain was trying to help me because I already had enough problems in high school. From kindergarten to sophomore year, I knew I had ADD. From junior into senior Asperger's, which probably would have still also been when I was still growing up as a kid as well. And after what we have had so many horrible things happen to people who from the LGBT community prior to anything that happened in Orlando throughout the years. Families disowning their kids because they aren't what they are supposed to be and never talking to each other again when they're adults. Kids getting beat up in schools and in parks just because of just because they'd like a doll instead of a football. Kids who were born with both male and female genitalia, who had who don't know what they were when they were growing up, and people who were one gender but thought as another. The world has come a long way, but certain things keep trying to push us back. Now, sadly, I couldn't find the shirt I would have wanted to wear for this, but this is a tie-dye shirt, so it's close enough to the rainbow as I can get. I am proud to be bisexual, and I'm hoping that for those of you who watch my videos who are uncomfortable with it, that you either just leave it be. I don't talk about this a lot, and when I do, I will be clearly saying if I'm talking about something that interests me in that preference, though usually I don't try to talk about that stuff. And up to that point, I really didn't try to talk about the opposite side. My first semester, when I first started this was a way of coping mechanism after losing a dear pet, and also going over something I had just gotten into, that was starting its official season that fall. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it at that. Actually, no, I'm not going to leave it at that, because this is going to be kind of the same thing I said about Orlando, and kind of an extension. As I had said before, we are all one. We were all born, no matter what religion or what science or whatever you believe in or not believe in, because if you don't believe in anything like that, we all came from something. We all came from one thing, most likely. And from that we branched off, developed, and began our own beliefs. No matter if you believe, like I said, believe in an almighty power or evolution, we still came from something. So we are still one. No, just because of our skin, our sexuality, and our personalities are different doesn't mean we are created from different things. And to see that whether ISIS was actually a part of this or not, I thought I was hearing yes, but now I'm not hearing. They're not so sure that that this boy was just influenced by them. They weren't coaxing him or anything, which was I don't even think the case in the first place. The way he handled it was so wrong that it sickened everybody, and it brought a lot of people together. Because yes, we all are different, and there's certain things that we aren't comfortable with that someone else might be fine with, and vice versa. I dated a guy who loves spiders, and I am nearly terrified of them. There's certain exceptions to that at growing up and having to learn to adapt, but it's like you accept things. Now sadly that didn't work out, and that's fine by both of us. We're still friends. However, it's just the fact that you have to learn sometimes to accept the differences in others. Sometimes even to learn to accept yourself. Even if you aren't the same. But what that man did, no, what that boy did, because he is no man, he is a cowardly child who was throwing a tantrum because he wasn't happy with what the way the world was. And the fact that his first wife is coming, I don't know if that whatever she was saying is legit. I think she is legit, but I could be wrong. But what that poor woman had to deal with, and how long she had to put up with him, I feel so sorry for her. And I'm glad she came out to talk to the press and the police about this, because if we can learn more about what had happened, we can try to prevent it even more. But the thing is, this has become a common norm now. And I am just wishing that we could all... There's no way that we're all going to accept each other for the way we are. There's no way that's going to happen. But if we could just adapt a little bit more, so that way we don't have to worry about these shootings ever happening. Not just with the gun violence, but with also acceptance. With that being said, I'm going to end it there, officially. Again, I'm going to say I am proud to be bisexual, and I hope that you will also share, the proud to be videos. You can find it by clicking on the rainbow heart. And yeah, this is Ali signing off.